Megyn Kelly didn't get into a fight with a college student at Virginia Tech because he was wrong. She got into a fight with him because he violated the single most unforgivable rule of modern Megyn Kellyism. He suggested that words actually matter. The idea that what powerful people say might actually shape the world that we all live in. And real quick, I'm Lauren Paritra. Please take a moment to subscribe. Share this video with a friend. Hype is only available on mobile, because I have to continue to grow so I can have more subscribers than Katie Miller, who's married to Stephen Little Bitch Miller. Because when a former journalist responds to that suggestion from a college student that, hey, we're actually accountable for our words and the culture that we create, she responds by yelling, "Facts are not evidence," and accusing a student of lying and invoking defamatory blasphemy. Like she's cross-examining a witness instead of engaging with a standard moral question with a college student where you showed up to answer questions and engage with college students.
Why you support a president who contributes to the rhetoric that got your friend Charlie killed. We saw his rally recently. He said, "I hate my enemies." Stephen Miller said similar things. How can you support him when he contributed to what got Charlie killed?
Assumes facts, not in evidence. What you said is not true.
70% of political violence is committed by Republicans.
Okay.
Look it up.
That's not
DOJ
true either.
just pulled it. The DOJ just pulled it from their website. DOJ just pulled the study from their website because they're delusional.
That's not true because
they just pulled it. Look it up.
Once you pull
DOJ pulled it from their website.
Once you pull the crazies out of there, it is overwhelmingly left-wing violence.
Google it.
We have had
every single person in the audience. Google it right now.
You know, this is how we get here. So first of all, let me take on the first part of the premise of your question, that it was President Trump's rhetoric that led to an assassin killing our friend Charlie Kirk. That's a blatant lie. It's a defamatory blaspheme, and it's inappropriate in the setting.
This is not a debate. You're watching a belief system snap. Megyn Kelly is snapping. And something has gone deeply wrong when a woman who once grilled presidents on live television now acts like she's having a meltdown for the MAGA myth factory. She's scolding a student for not for being inaccurate, but for being insufficiently reverent. Kelly didn't interrogate the premise. She was like immediately into criminalizing it mode. She didn't argue the point. She erased it and then declared victory over the version she invented. The student's question was almost painfully restrained. He didn't accuse Trump of murder. He didn't claim direct responsibility. He just said Trump contributes to a political atmosphere, one in which violent rhetoric dehumanizes people. And he says stuff like, "I hate my enemies," and that type of language normalizes cruelty and escalation. This is not a legal claim. I'm not a lawyer, but that feels like a pretty normal claim, maybe even a sociological one, or definitely a moral one. And it's one that Kelly understood perfectly, which is why she threw a fit and refused to engage with it.
That's not what I said.
We know. Yes, it is.
No, I said he contributed to the political atmosphere.
Well, then you have no point.
tension.
Then your point is utterly empty. Contributing to the atmosphere.
This
guy was let's just make clear. This guy was motivated by leftist ideology. We know it from the bullet casings. We know it from the Utah governor. We know it from his own mother. Yes, we do. Let's be really clear on that.
Even if that's true, so then you're saying, because let's say this guy's a leftist, even if that's true, does that make it okay for the sitting president of the United States to incite violence against liberals?
The president of the United States has not accepted violence against liberals. The president of the United States made a joke at the Charlie Kirk Memorial, which was funny and self-deprecating. It was on the heels of Erica Kirk saying she, in an extraordinary moment, forgave her husband's killer.
And
let me finish. And then President Trump got up and making a joke, playing off of what Erica said. He said, "We disagree. I need to do better. Erica's going to try to convince me, but I'm in a different place." And that's completely normal for a politician to be thinking about his political fights. And by the way, Trump has every right to loathe his enemies. They tried to put him in jail for the rest of his life. They tried to bankrupt him. They tried to put his family in jail. And they tried to kill him.
Instead of, answering the question that she showed up to do, she reached for the oldest trick in the Megyn Kelly playbook. Pretend that this is a courtroom accusation, then dismiss it for failing to meet some sort of evidentiary standard that no one asked for, Facts, not in evidence. Blatant lie. Defamatory. That language wasn't on accident. She's being disciplinary. She's putting the student on trial for daring to suggest that rhetoric has consequences.
For the rest of his life. They tried to bankrupt him. They tried to put his family in jail. And they tried to kill him.
Criminal. Jack Smith.
Wait. Okay, now you go.
Thank you for your time.
When he very calmly clarified, no, I'm not saying Trump has killed anyone. I'm saying Trump contributed to this political climate. Kelly flatly told him, yes, you were overriding his own words in real time. That moment mattered more than anything else in the exchange. It wasn't confusion. It was dominance. It was the assertion, that she decides what you mean, not you. You don't get to decide what you're saying. Then came the laundering. Kelly pivoted to ideology, to motivation, to bullet casings, to who counts as crazy. Because once you say, when you take the crazies out of it, when you take the crazies out of gun violence, that was a direct quote, when you take the crazies out of gun violence on the conservative side, on the far right, she's like, then you're just left with crazies. I'm sorry. The guns are the problem. The violence is the problem. Violence committed by your side becomes a mental health issue and tragic fluke. Violence committed by leftists becomes culture and ideology. This is not an analysis. This is just Megyn Kelly spewing delulu. It's how movements protect themselves from any sort of introspective moments. And here's what the broader Megyn Kelly story clicks into place. This is the same Megyn Kelly who now publicly says she has prayed to Charlie Kirk for guidance. Not prayed about him, not prayed for his family, prayed to him.
But I actually felt like it was divine right order. And I have to tell you, Jack, I've prayed so many times to Charlie and to God to give me the right guidance on how to handle this whole thing.
Prayed to him. Kind of weird. That alone should stop people in their tracks. Turning Point hasn't just memorialized Kirk. It has canonized him. His death has folded into this movement mythology, complete with recreated booths. They literally recreated the booth where he was shot and killed. There was a line around the block, replica shirts. Everyone had a replica shirt on, and they had selfie stations in this booth. And it became this cultural thing where the atmosphere around his killing is becoming kind of like a nativity scene. It's fucking weird. And once politics becomes so sacred, dissent becomes blasphemy to Megyn Kelly. And Kelly used that exact word. Her behavior at Virginia Tech wasn't just a hiccup. This is her logical outcome. This is how she reacts. This is the evolution of Megyn Kelly from journalist into MAGA enforcer. She isn't even there to explore questions. She's there to close ranks. She isn't there to persuade any skeptics. She's there to warn them. The warning is simple. If you ask the wrong kind of question of me, you're going to be treated as morally suspect. This is where the what's in the water with the Republican women question stops becoming flippant and starts becoming diagnostic. There's a specific archetype that has emerged in conservative media. Women who wield grievance as authority, certainty as strength, and cruelty as proof of seriousness. They don't debate, they just scold. They don't even explain what they're dismissing, and they're rewarded for being more absolute, more punishing, more loyal than men beside them. Megyn Kelly didn't lose her way because she's unintelligent or uninformed. She lost her way because the incentives changed. In this ecosystem, power doesn't come from nuance. It comes from ferocity, from never conceding that atmosphere and never acknowledging any sort of consequences, never admitting that the rhetoric actually shapes our reality. And to do so would implicate not just Trump, but everyone else who's built a career on amplifying his bullshit. So when Megyn Kelly sneers that the student's point is utterly empty, what she's really saying is that there's no space in this movement for that kind of thinking. No room for cause and effect. No room for moral complexity. No room for the uncomfortable truth that language repeated enough becomes permission. Megyn Kelly isn't a lunatic because she raised her voice and argued with a college student like a lunatic would. She's a lunatic because she's perfectly calm while insisting that words float free from the world they wound. She's not unhinged. She knows what she's doing. And she's treating the system as power and truth and seeing those things as threats. And that's what's in the water. It's no mystery why many of them are fucking guzzling it. If you've enjoyed this video and you think Megyn Kelly is crazy, please take a moment to subscribe, share this video with a friend, turn those notifications on. Megyn Kelly. Okay, well. Okay, can you not? Okay. we got the girly in shot. Okay, people like when Willa's in here doing these things, so I'll keep going with her doing this, and it gives people like something to play with. Okay, Willa is feeling better.